All right.
Becoming like a master with that thing now.
Call the meeting to order.
A lot of this. I've got a lot of experience with this. Comes in handy.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Any public comment? All right. For the minutes for on February 20th, 25, is there a motion? Motion by Shelley, second by
Second.
Matt. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Cool. New business, construction update?
It's been the construction update. Fortunately, it just got to me this earlier today. So, any questions about anything on there? Good. If not, if you have something later on, just reach out to Jim and Codes.
All right. Police department update?
Sure, I have a couple things. Personnel Sergeant John Monahan was recognized at the council meeting in March for his 20 years of service. Officer Nick Crawford graduated from the Temple's Police Academy and started his career with Plymouth on the D Squad. And just a week later, his dad, Officer Jim Crawford, retired from Lower Providence after 40 years. Officer Watts and Canine Amigo graduated from Penn Vet Working Dog Center from their scent detection school. Amigo is certified in narcotics, and we're looking forward to having them back on the street. Officer Subio was selected as Officer of the Year, recognized at the May Council meeting. And Sergeant Adams, Officer Brunner, Officer Marinelli, Amato, Kehoe, and Wyszynski, as well as Dispatcher Bowman, were recognized by the DA's office with the 2025 District Attorney's Award for their actions confronting the armed subject down at the Metroplex back in November of 24. We did 2 golden ticket rides for students at Plymouth Elementary and Ridge Park. The students are randomly chosen and given a police escort from their homes to the school, and then each student's class is treated with donuts from our community policing officer. The police reported this, we were getting them, but they're now in the 2 military surplus towable generators, similar to the ones that Plymouth Ambulance has. We have 2 of them now, and they're available if anybody needs them. And Officer Wittenberger in community policing has been working with Harmonville staff on the car seat checks, and I think they've run 2 events so far.
Yeah, we had one really successful event, which was good.
Over at the firehouse, so that's available if anybody needs it. A couple recent cases. At the end of April, our officers responded to 2 founded burglaries at businesses along Conshohocken Road and the Schuylkill River Trail. During one of the burglaries, the actor tried to steal a landscaping truck as well. He was arrested later in West Norton committing another burglary. He's awaiting court up at the county prison. Since our last meeting, our officers responded and arrested individuals for aggravated assault on 5 separate instances, which an aggravated assault occurs when the victim is subjected to serious bodily injury or death or near death. Or something an injury that may cause death, which is a pretty big number for just a couple months. And then back in January, the police department took a report from an 81-year-old female who fell victim to a phone scam. In that scam, she drove to a bank and withdrew $9,800 from her savings account and drove to another bank and deposited it into an ATM account of the scammer. Detective Ponzik worked diligently and quickly with the receiving bank, as the bank that she withdrew her money from was not interested in assisting us, and was able to stop the money from being from the deposit going through. He filed a couple search warrants and many lengthy phone calls, and he was able to recover all $9,800 back to that 81-year-old victim, which is not the normal in these types of cases. Usually once the money's gone, it's gone. Our summer cop camp enrollment period opened up. It was open for less than a week before all 30 seats were filled, and we had to close it. We held 2 coinciding events on April 26th. The first was a sensory touch-a-truck day, where children with sensory concerns were able to view all of our community's big trucks in a common stress-free atmosphere. At the same time, we held our drug take-back, where we collected about 33 pounds worth of unwanted prescriptions that will be properly destroyed. Our Citizens Academy graduated 15 community members at the May Council meeting. The Police Association had a shredding event with Representative Scott's office on the 12th of April, which was a huge success, and we actually stopped early because the truck was full. We couldn't take any more. We had a retiree breakfast on the 25th. 15 retired members of the police department joined for a meal with staff members and other current officers and shared some fond memories of policing. And the Brad Fox Memorial Golf Outing is scheduled for Monday, the 13th of October. That's it.
Any questions? All right.
Yeah, we'll bank with that, so we know not to use them.
There's a recording going on.
Yeah, jeez.
I just have a comment. I talked to a couple people the night at the council meeting, and some of them are familiar with the police department and police activities, but they were extremely impressed and overwhelmed with the police academy you guys do. So I want to pass that on. They really enjoyed it. They learned a lot, even though they know police work to a certain point because of their husbands or families or whatever. But they said it was very interesting, immensely knowledgeable stuff that was going on. So I just want to pass that on.
Thank you.
Harmonville, John?
For Harmonville, still running a lot of calls. We're averaging still about 70 to 90 calls since the last meeting. And the biggest point of discussion is going to be our 4th of July parade. So I'd like to get it out on the record. At this point, I'm still in favor of it. I don't think it raises any red flags as far as I'm concerned, but I would like to run that past, obviously, you guys on the police end and make sure that you guys are good with that. And if we are, we can go ahead and forward with our planning of our drive-through Plymouth Township 4th of July parade.
Actually, that was one of the things that Matt had asked me, do we do anything at parade? And I said, no. And just recently I was thinking, oh, you know what? We do. So what we do, and Harmonville came up with it right around COVID because people were all stuck in their houses. They have, and we've all chipped in and participated, where they map out the township and they put out a list and say, we'll be coming down your street at a certain time. And they basically go through the township, so there isn't a parade. They go to you, and people can, my neighbors do it. We come out, we sit in our chairs, and we wait for them all to come by. They throw candy at you, they do their thing. So it was kind of neat. There's no road blockings, and it's all mapped. They put it on their Facebook page so people know about what time they'll be going through that area, if they want to avoid the area, for traffic, or if they actually want to see it. So.
Yeah, I mean, every year it's hugely successful. We get a lot of really nice comments on Facebook. A lot of thank yous. A lot of people come out of their houses. And in light of the events in White Marsh, I think it will probably be even more successful this year, with our residents probably staying in Plymouth and not going to that. So I think it will be really good as long as everybody's still on board and the police department thinks it's good and township's good.
I mean, I never gave Matt a chance to digest it, so I don't know if you wanted to think about it. As far as the police department, I thought it was always successful. It didn't pose any problems. We also participate in that. Actually, there's been people like Kevin Bowe. Haven't they asked that?
Yeah, we invite all of our emergency services partners. So
Yeah.
it's everybody. We all get together. The police department leads it with motorcade, so they're taking care of intersections. They are fantastic with making sure that everything's secure. We drive through. We are all on communications on a radio channel. Hey, last car's out of development, and it really works really well. So as long as everybody's good.
I don't need to digest it further. That's pretty cool.
John's done a great job of mapping it out and all.
Yeah, it's pretty, at this point, I guess, 5 years we've been doing it, 5-6 years, it's down to the minute. Like, we are pretty darn close on,
The price
we're going to
action.
say there we're at 11:05, we are in your neighborhood at 11:05. Now, we don't hit every street. We ask the neighborhoods to come down to a main street. Unlike when we do the Santa Claus, we try to hit every single street. But with this, we do a streamlined route. That way, we're not tied up all day doing this. It's July 4th for our members as well. And then we host a cookout at our main station on Butler Pike. So we invite, obviously, everybody to come back. And we do burgers and dogs and stuff like that. So,
Cool.
if everybody's good, I'll get that ball rolling again.
Love it.
Good, thank you.
That's all I got.
Any questions? All right, Plymouth?
Just a couple things. The squad's up and running. It's fully in service. Everything was done. We were honored to be asked to take it out to Lancaster for the fire show this weekend, John? Yeah. So it's going to be out there. Matt, thank you for getting back to us on behalf of the emergency services in general about our insurance situation. Actually, it was very crucial because right after that, we had an incident at the firehouse. So thank you for making sure that was resolved. We will be doing our July 3rd Conshohocken fireworks gala that we do. We park cars in our lot for donations. We have some food trucks. So we'll be doing that again this year. Participating in the 4th of July run with Harmville. I think that's all that we have, if I can off the top of my head. I think that's it.
Any questions for Shelley? Flip the name, I'll say on.
He is. Tom Gears.
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me? I'm on a train right now, and reception's not the greatest.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'll be quick. A couple new ambulances have arrived. They should be at our station within 2 to 3 weeks, and then probably in service, I would say maybe middle of June. Nothing much really on the forefront other than if anybody needs CPR first aid. I don't know who's present, but Matt West, if he's there, I'd like to say thank you as the township manager and Chief Merciades for pushing to acknowledge EMS week along with the firefighters. So if that wasn't spoken about, extend some gratitude from the EMS side on that. And once again, like I said in the meeting on Monday night, I think the township is very well served with both EMS, fire, and police. I think all the systems work well together. That's all I have. If anybody has anything for me.
Nope. Thanks, Tom. All right. Emergency management?
Yes. I was appointed Monday evening to Emergency Management Coordinator, and I wanted to give an update to everybody, some of the things that are in play right now and what we're preparing for as a group, and we'll be reaching out to the fire companies and EMS. Today, my deputy, Chris Schwartz, and I met with the Conshohocken Emergency Management Coordinator, Ray Sokolovsky, discussing partnership, training, advice. They have a very good system in place. We've already got a good working relationship, so we got a lot of information from him. We'll be meeting Wednesday with Phil Brady to talk about detailed security upgrades for Plymouth Township Day. Again, it's minor things, but getting on the same channel. He had actually talked about an incident that happened last year that I wasn't aware of, that a child broke his arm on one of the rides, couldn't get the ride owner. With all the emergency medical people there and fire companies and police, nobody knew about it. And apparently Phil Brady's staff tracked these people down as they were getting into their car to take their kid to the hospital. So I said, well, clearly that's a problem. The fact that we're all there showing off our trucks and things like it's not taking care of business. We have to block off entrances. We have to be on the same channel. The police will actually have people there watching. We'll have the drone up just to give an idea of what's happening. Just basic safety concerns that most people won't even notice. So we'll be coordinating that. We'll also be coordinating, Shelley had mentioned July 3rd is when Conshohocken does their fireworks. That impacts one of our major emergency service routes, Plymouth Road. I know years ago there was a problem where people that were going to the fireworks show would actually block Plymouth Fire's driveway, which was ridiculous. They would be telling people you can't park here. If they didn't care, they'd block it. So things like that we have to coordinate with Conshohocken just to make sure that runs smooth. And since Plymouth Fire Company is the closest to the Conshohocken show, it behooves them to make sure that they can respond. On Thursday, we'll be touring the community center with Phil Brady. We're going to include IT to look for a suitable site there to get going. We've already started with a company Procom to at least give us some ideas of how things should be worked out. And then, of course, we'll approach the manager and council with some ideas and see what direction we all want to go in. We have actor-shooter training for all of us, tentatively set up for sometime this summer at the middle school. Middle school staff, the school district, they all want to participate. And what we're envisioning is having fire, EMS, and police, because we figured what we'd do would be something along the lines of police responding to the active shooter, EMS, of course, setting up, and at some point maybe a pipe bomb, simulated pipe bomb, where now there's a fire in there while this is going on, so you need the fire company. And then I envision, and I'm going to approach council and the manager to see at the same time if we did a tabletop where, okay, now here are your responsibilities, and this is what you would be doing at this time, and here's the EOC. And so we would all get some practice, and we'd actually have some senior seasoned people, probably from other agencies like Conshohocken and Cheltenham, critique what we're doing and giving us some feedback. So that'll be over the summertime, and we'll coordinate with everybody to make sure that it works with everybody's schedule, whether it has to be in the evening or on a weekend, whatever it needs to be. Chris and I have prioritized some next steps with the plan, the emergency management plan, comprehensive resource list, which we need to do to update, and not just who we can call at any hour, but go 4 or 5 deep for when that person's on vacation or doesn't answer their phone or something like that. We have to coordinate with finance to make sure that we have an agreement that these people get paid, because that's been an issue in the past, especially when you go from your number 1 to your number 2 or number 3. If you go from somebody who's willing to help to somebody else who's in a union and has a certain way of doing things, and they've been stiffed elsewhere before, they have to know there's an agreement and that's taken care of. So these are the things we'll be working out. We're also compiling training, which we're coordinating with Matt for all department heads and anybody that'd be involved in the EOC, as well as council. I believe there's some training you might have already done, but we have a comprehensive list of things that, there's no reason to have the bare minimum. You're better off having a very good understanding of what happens, just in case it's needed. We'll be reaching out to several different agencies and people to establish deputies and assistants, people to help. What I want to do so that I don't go around anybody, I'm going to go through the chiefs of the companies. If anybody's expressed interest, and some people have, I'll let the chiefs know. But I don't know that the chiefs would appreciate if we went directly to their people, or they didn't know about it, or they had an issue with something like that going on. So we will go to all of you and say, do you have a suggestion? And so that you know, if they haven't told you, 1 or 2 or 3 of your people have expressed interest. So, and of course, we'll all talk about that. If you find a better way of doing these things, just let us know. We're not dictating anything. This is a partnership. So any ideas are appreciated and will be used. Our Sergeant Wack already had a meeting with the fire chiefs about our drone. We're coordinating the use of the drone and facilitating a partnership so we can establish protocols for all of us. The police department has already started training, and well before the end of the year, all of our personnel will have incident command 100, 200, 700, and 800. In addition to that, anyone who's going to be in the EOC and our sergeants and command staff, we have somebody we've already contracted with who's going to come in to do incident command 300 and 400. I think one's a 3-day course and one's a 2-day course. And there's additional spots, and my hope is that because you need the 100, 200, 700, 800 first, is if we get some department heads and anybody else in the township that's willing to be part of the EOC, that we have spots available there that they can also come to these courses as well.
Yeah, and if I can add, that we had circulated a link for council for an offering that Mike had forwarded to me. ICS, I can't remember the number. There it is, G402, Incident Command Systems Overview for Executives and Senior Officials. I have yet to hear a response from the county yet to identify. They were looking at which date was best for everybody who wanted to attend it. So I'm hoping that was due last week, so I'm hoping maybe next week we'll hear from them on what that date is, and hopefully we can get most, if not all, of council signed up and taking that class.
As far as, there's a lot of things that I've already begun doing for myself, things like municipal associate certification, which I plan on having done before this year, and then with a year hiatus, you have to have that association for that certification for a year. There's a municipal professional certification. So we've already identified, with Chris's help, what things I need to do. These are things that Chris already has to make sure that I'm fully functional. Yesterday, I attended my first meeting, the Eastern Montgomery County Emergency Management Work Group, and next week I'm going to attend the monthly county emergency management training as well. By midsummer, we're going to begin security preparations for the National Night Out, because that again is a big, wide open function that we have with a lot of people there. And I will tell you, we learned a lot from Conshohocken today. And I think at some point, this would be a discussion better for to have with the manager and with council, what it takes to establish these things. But they also threw out the offer where they said that their council's been very supportive and they're very knowledgeable about, since they've been doing this for a while, and I think they've identified themselves as probably the place to emulate in this county. They said, this was the emergency management coordinator, that he's pretty sure that their council will be more than happy with meeting with our council, and I know that you've already got established relationships anyway, but to discuss it, to hear your concerns or questions and let you know what they feel is important. I just thought that might help, so maybe you get a straight answer from a contemporary, people that have already faced this problem. Because when he told us about where they came from and how they started, I said, well, you're telling our story. This is where we are. So it was great to hear, and it helped. So.
No, we'll jump on that. That's a great opportunity.
All right, so I will talk to him to see if you want, unless you've already got connections, if you want me to see if he can help facilitate that, or if you guys want to just reach out.
Yeah, we'll take that one off your plate. We'll take care of
Okay,
that.
terrific. And that's all I have. I just wanted to kind of get that out there and let everybody know where we're at so that we're all on the same page. All right, thank you.
John, I just want to touch on the drone aspect. That was a really nice meeting with Rocco and the crew the other day. It's good. I think it's going to be a great asset for everybody in emergency services, especially that it's deployable in a patrol car pretty much 24/7 if there's an operator on. That resource is going to be really invaluable for our major incidents, not our typical everyday stuff, but when we have a major incident, and I kind of used Chris's train crash that he had in White Marsh Township, which was, half a mile away from it would have been in Plymouth Township. So I said that would have been a fantastic resource to have right off the bat, to be able to get eyes on it and start. And I think that's a great investment, and I just want to give you guys kudos for getting that.
That's great. And what we've been utilizing this for now already is we have the operators going out and putting the drone up and taking pictures of existing buildings. We're trying to get all of them so that if and when there is an incident somewhere, let's say it's a fire incident, you'll have a shot of the roof. You're like, oh, I didn't know this, and this was up there. I didn't know that if it was for us to gain access to a building, oh, I see that the door opens out instead of in, so we can't breach it, that type of thing. Everything will be there in a command center for you. So the idea is to get everything, eventually, absolutely everything in the township that we'll have. We can pull it right up and boom, it's on a screen and you can look and see. And that's nice.
The mapping software was pretty impressive. I think that would be good to invest in.
This is technology. This is.
Love it.
Yeah.
Are you going to give another one of those fire EMS?
I'm sorry?
Included into it?
Absolutely.
Because
this was just
great for fire investigations too, not just the fires themselves.
Oh, absolutely. All right, good. No, and it'll be available.
That's you, or should I go through Rocco direct?
You can always talk to Rocco. I'll let him know to make sure to include you on that as well. I think we talked to the medics. They didn't see the application for them, but it's there. If they were in a command post and they had a question, boom, they could pull it up. But absolutely, it makes sense for when you have to investigate. You might see something like, well, there's something we didn't know about. I got to look into that. So,
Especially the bigger buildings where we can't see it just from tower ladder. Get something overhead.
I will make sure, I'm gonna say something to Rocco, but please know that you can just go right directly to him.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell him to include you on those.
I think that's got great application in an EOC, as well as I'd be interested to see how it can be integrated into the field, with tablets, situational awareness, outside of the EOC.
That's what I was gonna ask, if you
Yeah.
put the drone up and you got the EOC activated, whether it's here or the community center, can they pull it up on the TV and see it live, or is that not capable to do, or right now, or?
You know what, I believe you can, but, and I'm always happy, if of any interest, I'll bring Rocco Wack here next time so he can discuss it and answer some questions. But my belief that we could even send this stuff to
We're waiting on a
them.
county license.
Okay, that's what I
Once
was.
we have the county license, we'll be able to live stream it back.
Nice.
And these are things that your people in the field can pull up on their MDTs and so forth also,
Is
which
that how you guys, when you're out in the field using that, do you pull it up on your NDCs, or how do you?
I mean, right now, we're still developing it,
It's
but
on the controls,
Okay.
so they're seeing it live, real time on the controls itself. It's like a bigger Game Boy, basically, is what they're flying it with. When we get the license, we'll be able to stream it back, and the building stuff that he's talking about is stitching the pictures together, so it's an interactive. I don't know if they showed you that the other day, where you can actually do a 360 of the building and move all the way around, move the whole imagery around.
this isn't gonna be something that's gonna be stuck in some closet that only, special people can. This is for all your line people, this is for everybody to use in the field.
That's what I said, having it in a patrol car, I think, is fantastic, because it's easily deployable, it's there right away, it's gonna be I think it's
The
gonna be a
goal is
great
at some
resource.
point that all this stuff will be SharePointed, that it'll be on the street 24/7.
Yep, I think it's gonna be great.
Awesome. We'll keep you up on that, and like I said, when it gets closer, if there is that interest to hear more about it, I'll have somebody with all the answers for you.
I assume it's cloud-based also?
Is what the cloud-based. Like
This-
our SharePoint is you can get on anywhere.
The drone system. I assume they have a proprietary operating system that they use.
Yep.
I'm hoping it's cloud-based.
Yeah, this was nothing that we
I
had.
can't answer
Just
that.
hoping it's cloud-based.
I'm going to say that if the county's using it, it's cloud-based.
Okay, that just helps. It just helps from a security standpoint, from an accessibility standpoint, from a data redundancy standpoint, and it really helps the field applications of it too. The more things that we can push to the cloud, the better.
I'm pretty sure that it is, but I will make sure, and we'll push all that information out. I don't even have to wait a quarter of a year till our next meeting to have whatever information, I'll have them put it together, shoot it out to everybody. That way, if you have questions, we can just keep that dialogue going. So, that's one of the things that questions will get answered. And that's all that I had.
All right. Any questions? Miscellaneous?
I have one.
So do I, but you go first.
I was going to suggest if, first, I was going to think about proposing an earlier start time. I don't know if 7 o'clock is still the most useful time for everyone, but then I got trumped by having a streaming meeting when I walked in this evening, I was like, well, what if we just push this meeting to a standing virtual meeting? And if we need to, we can always reconvene in person. We've kind of tested that method for another meeting that we have internally for staff. We always circulate the calendar invite as a Teams meeting, and then if we need to, we can always have it on the calendar, and we can say, hey, we're going to meet in person on this date and time. So I would maybe do a twofer, maybe an update to the change in time, and maybe the methodology, the delivery to virtual. And I would go as early as you all can make it.
I'm all for that. It could be much earlier.
That's what I mean.
It could be 5 o'clock, it could be 4 o'clock at the end of the day, depending on everybody else's availability, but
What's your schedule?
I mean, we're looking day to day, 4 o'clock is probably great. I mean, 3 o'clock's pretty good for me typically, but 4 o'clock's probably a little bit better. It gets me out of work most days and on the road. So if that's what we're looking at. I mean, that 4 would be fine for me.
I would say as close to 4 o'clock as possible, if not even earlier. There's no reason that we couldn't have it during the day
I'm
either.
up at 5 a.m. every day, so.
Just want to be respectful to
I'm not
everyone
going that
else's
early.
professional lives. And, I know Shelley, you're not in the township, employee, so.
It's probably, no, I make my own schedule, so it's fine.
Okay.
It's whatever day it is, as long as I know before.
Four would be ideal.
4 p.m. and do Zoom unless you want to sit in your room here by yourself?
Should we try that? I mean,
That's fine.
Does that work?
Sounds good.
Zoom or do we?
The only thing I would say, I don't know if Tom can hear this conversation, or John Heleniak, or does it need to be feedback from those guys since they're not here before we
I
change
can
something?
reach out to both of them tomorrow if you want.
Okay.
See what they say.
I think it's a good idea, but
Does that? Yeah, and Kevin Bowe too, yeah.
Kevin, yeah.
The three of them. Does council need to do
I
anything with like
don't know
any?
if you guys can hear me.
oh, yeah, Tom.
yeah, Tom, good.
Hello?
Yeah, we're here, Tom. Can
Yeah,
you-
sorry. There's bad service, but I heard some
You're in a tunnel.
Zoom type meeting, I guess, at
Yes.
4:00. That's all I heard.
Yes.
We're throwing that out there. Does that work for you?
Hello? That's fine with me. I'm available, most of the time.
Then I'll cross them off.
I don't have any objection to it.
All right, good.
Then I'll reach out to Heleniak and Kevin Bowe tomorrow and get their input, and if they're on board, we'll start doing that.
Does anything have to be published since it's a public meeting?
Well, we have to re-advertise.
Yeah, just make sure.
So we were going to re-advertise for council for June, July, August, and so I wanted to wait to see if there was any updates here, and so we'll put it in
One big thing.
one advertisement.
Yeah, because we talked about doing this before.
We talked about going Zoom for people
On
that couldn't make
Zoom,
it.
and I also threw out possibly making it earlier, but I think the only hope, was Chris, not Manera, not you. Just do the schedule.
I wasn't
But
done.
if everybody else is on board, I think that'd be easier.
Works for me.
I like 4 o'clock even better.
All right. And the only other thing I have is, like I mentioned before we started, Cleveland Cliffs is going to be going idle. I reached out to the Senior Director of Human Resources, who forwarded me to the local HR director. So I'm waiting to hear back from them, and as soon as I get their updated contacts from when they go idle, I'll ship it to the appropriate people that always do all the other stuff. So,
Is there a definition of idle? No one is on site, or they're just not operating, but
I'm
their
not really
leader's
sure,
on site?
so when the local HR guy gets to me, I'll try and reach out and have a conversation with him and find out. I know they have a third-party security company there, to see if they're gonna be there. If not, then to see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if, for example, HR is on site, if there's leaders who are sort of keeping the,
Right now, they have 107 employees, and it says that the 107 positions will be subject to layoff on June 30th or within 2-week period afterwards.
Sounds like gate locked.
So, when I was out there for my inspection, they were told they need Knox locks on the gates. There's 3 gates that you can drive through.
that may answer that question right at the top of the gate.
This was aside from
The hydrant
Going
is
idle.
set on auto.
none of them ever do.
Mike, are they
Then we found out they're going
locking up that tunnel as well?
I don't know, but I can find out.
You find out.
We might actually have to get a few of us and go on site, because we've been there for some horrific industrial accidents. I can't imagine if
That
we
tunnel,
get in there to.
that tunnel allows access into the
Is that
property.
the train tunnel you're talking about?
I think it's maybe a dormant train tunnel. I just know it from pictures.
I mean, if you want, I can reach out
Down
to
there for people burning stuff down there.
Bob Simcox.
Is that
the head guy? Try and set up a meeting with.
Talking about
the
that
guys,
big, that
fire
large storm
marshal
drain that
codes, we can
runs
just go
right
down and meet with them.
And it might not be bad to even do something on site where we can go, a bunch of us.
On Halstar? Yeah.
I'll see what his availability is within like the next week or two, and shoot you guys an email and say, hey, this is the date and time.
That might even be a good idea at that time to take the drone.
Yeah.
Because that way we can take a look while we're there and say, what about this, what's that? Because it's a lot easier than us getting our eyes on it.
Are there any dates that don't work for anybody?
Last week of May.
Maybe they could give a few dates that we could choose from, so for everybody's schedule.
I'll see what we can do, like probably the first week of June.
And we can all send a representative if anybody.
Yeah, you guys can get with.
Anybody who can't go, we'll push the information out. If you have a concern and you can't be there, let us know, and we'll make sure that you're
The license
concerned.
by then, you can live stream it to me. I'll be in the ER watching.
County license, you think that's coming?
And that's the only thing I have on Cleveland Cliffs. So if I hear any more, I'll let you guys know.
John's here, maybe.
Yeah, I apologize. The family thing ran way too long with the kids, so I apologize for being so late.
Apologize for family
Just
stuff.
discuss, though, if everybody was amenable, changing the time and the means of this. They were talking about the possibility of doing it by Zoom and choosing 4 o'clock instead, so that your night is.
Yeah, I'm pretty flexible with
that
whatever
work
you
for
guys
you?
have. Yeah, I mean,
Everybody else seemed to-
my work schedule, I'm always able to either pop in or pop on something, so, yeah.
And I'll just get a hold of Kevin Bo tomorrow and
That's great. All right, sounds good.
And to your question, Lynn, we're trying to find out what idle means too.
Yeah.
Because asking the employees, they don't know. Like, yeah, we're told we're going idle too.
But looking at
Sure.
but actually reading the letter, if they're getting laid
The
off.
letter actually says more now.
Closing.
Yeah.
So, they were told they definitely do need the Knox locks, which you guys have the Knox key and we do fire EMS stuff, so.
So when we got that letter today, we started looking at it, and I have a list of questions for them now. Is Allied, the security company, staying there? They're not employees, but are they going to still retain them, or are they literally clearing everybody out? What they're doing with fire alarm monitoring, because right now, that goes to security, so if they're getting security, are we going to monitor that? And things along those lines, as well as they still have to keep their hydrant systems up and suppression system up.
Yeah,
So
so
they're required to do that anyhow.
currently their hydrant system, they have 20, I think it's 23 hydrants on the property
How many of them?
Runoff pumps.
with a 100-gallon tank that, when I was there, is set on auto, so when you do open, they should. The problem we had when the field fire was they did work to it and they had it on off. So they had to get somebody.
Oh, they had it on off the last little
Yeah.
gas fire, fed
gas
fire
fire,
we
too.
had that one night
Yeah.
too, and no one knew how to turn it back on.
It's real easy if you go into that little room. I don't know if you know where it's at.
I think it's in the back,
It's
but
all the way in the back. If you see where the big holding tank is, there's a little white building. Go in there on the one wall. Switch
is
the on or
that,
switch
is
the
that
on.
building readily open, or do they have it locked?
Yes.
Yes to which one? Got it.
When they go idle.
We'll get in. We'll get in when we have to.
You will be able to have access to it.
One thing we already talked about is enforcing that they have that in the on position or fix it as part of the rest of
Yeah,
the.
so
What are they doing, and I apologize for being a little late with it, but what are they doing with with the hydrants there? Are they going to continuously upkeep them depending on how long and everything's shut down and yada, yada, yada? Because right now, if we had a fire there right now, we're gonna wait probably 10 minutes for sludge to come right back out of all those hydrants. Just like we did for the field fire, and things like that. And we had been over this for years and years and years for them to upkeep as best as they can. I mean, I know they've got bigger fish to fry sometimes too, but they don't. And it's thankfully not been too big of an issue to have to literally wait quite a while for
one of the
us
things,
to be able to even hook into it without destroying our stuff.
one of the things I did request on the fire inspection was a hydrant inspection report for all their private hydrants.
Yeah, because like I said, it's we haven't had that instance yet where we could. That field fire could have taken off, and we would have just been there even longer putting field fires out. But we also don't want to have to rush that for something more emergent, and then $2 million piece of fire apparatus is junk. For what we're sucking into it from those hydrants because they're not upkeeping them, and that's been a continuous thing with them. So.
And now finding out with the shutdown, that's one thing we're looking into trying to, I guess a caveat or something to add on to requiring them now that they're pulling out, getting something from them in writing to make them keep it up.
And obviously my biggest concern, with is not necessarily like normal plant operations, obviously, but with a lot of the homeless people down there and maybe the lack thereof, not the highest security with what's going on down there as opposed to right now, which I'm going to say is sometimes lackadaisical at best too. That's what I worry about is now we'll have the actual issue because of whatever happens. So that, I'm more alert now with it actually shutting down than when it's populated and working, right? We'll have a bigger incident because of this stuff than that.
They'll almost find out it's empty.
Well, they're down there. We've been there before for smaller things because they have smoke blowing into their facilities because they're lighting the campfires in through those storm drains by the rail lines, the R6 lines and all that. And I mean, with lesser security or whatever they're doing with it, you know, locking that plant up, it'll be easier for them to cut gates and never be seen in there. And if they're camping out as we're getting closer to wintertime and things like that, whatever junk they leave in there.
Well, we have the concern with the home. We had last Saturday 4 burglaries on Conshohocken Road in one night. They were all homeless. 2 houses on New Elm Street and then 2 businesses. So if they're not going to have 24-hour security there, and even if they do, we're still responsible. Our guys have to go in there, and that's a huge. There's no way that we can know for sure, but there's no way that we can't go in there and check.
There's a lot of hiding
Because
spots.
we've already got people living in tents behind the Wawa on the bike path. This is just along the bike. They find out that it's abandoned. Easily could have dozens upon dozens.
You'd never find people in there.
And it is so I mean, it's so dark when it's there.
What happens to them if we don't
Fire
find
lights off. We
then we
won't-
find
we
them
won't see it for hours
fast or something?
until we have to.
There's a lot of
Until we all see it.
like that.
You know, and then that'll just fester for hours if a fire breaks out.
The only way we found out about a couple of them was
I'm sure
plant employees, not security,
we
but the
cover
plant
a lot of
employees
things that
found
we
it, or
haven't
somebody on the bike
looked
trail
at.
did.
They-
And then that's
they're
probably- you
required
don't
to
see it
stay
until
on
you
top
see
of
it.
But is there anything else that we should, like, someone mentioned a contract. I'm wondering if we do need a different type of contract with them, given that they've gone idle. Like, it's kind of different from you've operated, a business is in operation where it's not. I mean, that idle state, like, there's so many things that they're expected to do. And I'm wondering if there's anything, like, do our codes cover everything, or would there be something else we should have a contract with them for? And could we, to say, like, these are some of the expectations, in your idle state, we're still expecting this and this and this and this and this? Or maybe codes covers those things, I don't know.
Unfortunately, codes don't, but that's where like security comes in, upkeep, maintenance of the hydrants.
Right, code is code. The property maintenance code, the construction code, safety code, fire code, it's all the same, regardless of whether it's active or not. It's the documentation of those violations, the frequency of it. That's when we can start taking it further and taking additional steps.
So as long as we do that, because it seems like it's a massive risk to the township. I mean, what could happen on that site?
I mean, it's been a massive risk since it was
Yeah,
built.
yeah,
So
but
I mean,
under
but now
operation, to
even
your
more
point, yeah.
so now is like I said, I have greater concern now that it is going idle and dormant.
They are still the
And when
owner.
it's
They are still responsible for all of these things. It is not our responsibility to maintain it, to secure it. It's their responsibility. It's our responsibility to enforce it.
Right.
And document it, and then take all the legal action that we can take when they do not hold up their end of the bargain.
And they're still a business.
They're, I think, the third or fourth largest steel company in the United States. So
So they have other plants everywhere. This one's just shutting down. Right.
And that's the one main reason why we get the emergency contacts when they go idle. So if we have an issue, we can reach out like, yo,
Yes.
this has to be done.
Because the emergency contacts that are there now aren't gonna be there anymore. So we have to get regional or whoever is next.
Any other miscellaneous? Any old business? Next meeting is Thursday, the 21st of August, 4 p.m. via Zoom. Unless you want to sit here by yourself. Any audience participation? Motion to adjourn? Shelley, seconded by Mike. Any questions? All those in favor, aye. Opposed? Good night.